So this week I was working with a client and she reached out to me. We had some dialogue that helped her with a few things in regards to the probate process, the inheritance process. And she said, she reached out to me. She said, Khalid, we're ready to sell the home. I talked to my brother. We can't afford nor do we want to maintain the property that we've recently inherited. I said, okay, fine. We kind of had some conversation. I asked her some personal questions in regards to why she wanted to sell the property, what they was thinking can get for it, and just kind of offering my extra expertise, so to speak, in regards to the next steps and what I think would be advantageous for her and her family. So we were kind of going through the conversation, and she came to me, and and probably 10 minutes into the phone call, she said, "Well, don't we have to wait until the probate is closed for me to sell the property?" And I said, absolutely not. You do not have to wait at all. And so in this video, I'll be detailing me as a non-legal professional, as a real estate professional, but when I have talked to attorneys in the area and dealt with probates in the area to where I know for sure you don't have to wait until the probate is close to sell the property. Now, of course, there's some things that you want to cross off, and you definitely want to get an attorney's opinion on this and an attorney's consultation on this. But just from what I know, you could fact check me. You do not have to wait. Now, let's go over some responsibilities of the executor or the person in charge of an estate, right? So, the executor is in charge of putting the inventory, kind of taking an inventory and having an appraisal of all the assets in the estate, paying the debts in the estate, uh, filing the last tax return, and keeping in contact with beneficiaries, especially if there are multiple beneficiaries, on what they're doing to settle the estate in a timely manner. Now, you go through the probate process, you petition with the surrogate court to be appointed to executor and to probate the will. You go through this process, and then you're starting to thinking like, okay, a lot of times, sometimes the state has money to where you can pay off the debts and it's settled, and then you only have to think about selling the house maybe down the line, right? So unless other provisions were made, the decedent's home, the person who passed home, uh, or any real estate property may need to be sold to liquidate the estate, right? So only the executor has the responsibility or the authority to do this, rather. So this is something to know, because all you have to do is obtain letters from the court to request permission to sell the property most of the time. And a lot of times in the will, it covers what they want. The will just gives you next steps on what to do as the executor and what is the final wishes of your loved one, the person who passed, right? Now, this is very important to understand, because a lot of times I see a lot of people who are executors or put in charge of an estate go through stress that they don't have to go through, because they simply do not know what the next steps are. They don't know what they can and cannot do. This is usually the first time that they've been in charge of somebody's estate, and you don't know what you don't know. So it's not even about being willfully like not knowing I don't want to say willfully ignorant, but it's not about, a lot of times, you, like I said, you don't know what you don't know, and you really want to consult somebody who this is their area of expertise. Now, I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I am familiar with the process, and somebody who will be even more familiar is your attorney. But also just, consulting people who have navigated this process and navigated it successfully. So again, just the long and short of the answer is, you can sell a property usually before an estate is closed. You want to consult with attorney, an estate attorney, probate administration attorney, for the next steps. But it is something that you can do, and it is something that could be usually advantageous, or a lot of times advantageous, for the estate, and you settling the estate in a timely manner, which is your fiduciary responsibility. Again, my name is Khalid with Probate Property Playbook. What we do is help with all the non-legal tasks and handle all real estate needs in regards to somebody who is navigating an estate and have recently inherited a home. Um, we're here 973-352-7792. Again, this is Khalid with Probate Property Playbook. Just looking to help you guys get educated on this very specific topic, but a topic that I see a lot of people in Essex, Bergen, Hudson County, all the counties that I work go through. The more you know. Thank you.